one of the legendary men and one of the great content creators when it comes to your Dallas Cowboys. Will they be a contender in 2026 for the Super Bowl? And on the other side, one of the truly greats. He just shakes his head every time there's Cowboy talk. He is my friend, Philly.500, the legendary content creator for the Philadelphia Eagles. How you doing, guys? I appreciate you. What's going on?
Great.
Well, it's happening. How you guys?
How you doing, Philly?
I'm great. I couldn't complain. How about you?
You can't complain? Okay.
Why? About what? What would I complain about? Who would listen?
We do. I always listen, buddy.
I have nothing to complain about. You come on here like I have something to complain about. I have nothing to complain about.
Okay.
I'm good. My team is in the right direction. We're good.
You're
That's
right.
what it sounded like with Xander and
Wow. Wait a minute.
Well, I don't listen to what they have to say. So
listen, hold on here now. Get this. We're going to go back and forth here. So I'm going to ask you the question that I started out with Xander today. So I'll ask you, Mark, do you believe your team will be a Super Bowl contending team heading into 2026? I mean, here, follow me here. You sign an edge rusher like Crosby, okay? You get Crosby on that side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You've improved your defense. You keep Pickens. Your offense was number 1 in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Don't you? If you get your defense to 15th instead of being the shitty 32nd, how do you not look at yourself as a Super Bowl contender?
If you're putting those scenarios there, then you have to. You would have to say that they would be a Super Bowl contender. But we're talking about the Cowboys and Jerry Jones. Will they do anything?
I thought you got better this year. I thought you got better.
We did. We got younger, but the defense, of course, was just a complete pooch screw. But yeah, if we can get the defense to 15 and get ourselves some tackles and keep George Pickens, yeah, that team, you would have to look at it and say you are, because the difference between the teams that are there, if you add that to them, you're not far away. You did beat the Eagles one time with the sorry-ass defense that we had.
Well, Mark did see Crosby at the Dallas airport, right? That Dallas was going to get him then. They was at the airport in Dallas, Mark. Breaking news.
Wait. It's not my fault.
In the airport.
It's not my fault that all white guys with tattoos look alike.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you what, though, Mark. So Christian Parker's there, right? What if he adds a Kobe Dean and Jalen Phillips to your defense?
That would definitely help. We need Xander was saying, if they have Max Crosby, but we've got problems across the board. We definitely need linebackers, and the Kobe Dean would be definitely an upgrade. Overshown should be better having the offseason now coming back from the ACL, or actually complete knee rebuild, but we still need help in the secondary as well. So yes, there are some positive things out there. I don't know how Philly.500 would like seeing that happen, seeing the Kobe come to Dallas with Christian Parker.
So let me go to the man here then. Do you believe right now, Philly, that you sitting right now? Now, look, we're going to change this up because obviously March 11th we start the new year in the NFL. That's free agency begins. Also, to the April 23rd drafts coming up in about 79 days or so. Think about that. March 11th is right around the corner. We're talking about
we haven't even had the Super Bowl yet. So
isn't that crazy? That shows you how the NFL works so fast. Do you believe right now on February 4th, Jerome Brown's birthday, do you believe that you are a Super Bowl contending roster?
Do I believe the Eagles are?
Yes.
Yeah, I do. I thought they were one last year as well. I don't think they got the most out of the talent that they had. But from a talent perspective, I do. Yeah. Now, a lot's got to happen this whole season, but right now, where we stand, where the roster is right now on a team, yeah, I think they are. But a lot's got to happen.
How about this too, Philly? You believe that Landon Dickerson is going to bounce back? Do you know I looked up his injury history? He's got 13 injuries and surgeries that he's had heading into this next one he has. I mean, why am I to believe that he's going to be getting healthier or better when this will be number 14? The Cam Jurgens is an issue. Lane Johnson.
Cam Jurgens scares me more than Landon. Landon, like you said, he's come back from injuries before, so he's kind of done it. Cam worries me. Lane, if Lane's healthy, I think he'll be all right another year if he comes back. But if we're judging it today on the roster today, he's still playing, so I think he'll be fine. But they got work to do. There's no question about it.
Mark, this is 11th year coming up for Dak, right? This is year 11.
Yeah.
Is Dak ever going to win a Super Bowl in Dallas?
That's a good question. Now, if you listen to Jerry Jones, he wants to retire with more Super Bowl wins than anybody else. So I guess he's never retiring. The Cowboys could put together a team if they want to. It's not, I don't think it's ever been a can they, it's really will they. If they flip the triggers on Dak, CD, and Quentin Williams, and you can go down the line, they can get $120 million of cap space very easily. Will the Cowboys actually be a player? They talk the talk, but, the first week, 2 weeks of free agency, usually they're on vacation. So if they don't, no, they won't win one. They're going to have to.
Do you believe that the failures of the Cowboys in the postseason have been non-Dak related? Some
are and some aren't. Dak did not have a great game with San Francisco, but he's had good ones too. The bigger problem is in the playoffs, you have to stop the run. Bottom line. And every time we get to the playoffs, we've not been able to run the football and not been able to stop the run, in which case you put everything on the quarterback, and throwing into tight windows when a team knows you can't run is damn near impossible when you're playing elite talent.
Philly, look at this here. Happy heavenly birthday to one of my favorite Eagles. Today is Jerome Brown's birthday today. And also, How about this one? 8 years ago today, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. What was your first reaction? And I'll go ask Mark what his was. What was your first reaction when the Eagles 8 years ago won their very first Super Bowl?
I'm not going to sleep. I don't believe it. I'm not going to sleep. I didn't sleep for 3 days because I was so afraid I was going to wake up and it was a dream. So I was afraid to go to sleep because I could not believe that it actually happened. There were times, I thought it was never going to happen. So no, it took a couple of days to feel real. That's for sure.
That stuff, you go back and you remember, seriously, the words you say, aren't they stuff like this? Holy shit, we won. I mean, like that, right?
Yeah. I was afraid to go to sleep. I literally didn't sleep. I was coming on here like this, because I had not slept. I was like, I'm going to wake up. This is going to be a dream. I'm not doing it. No. This is crazy.
So as a Cowboy fan, Mark, how did you feel about your nemesis winning their first Super Bowl?
I have to tell you, I was there in Minneapolis for that Super Bowl.
Okay.
And I was right on the aisle seat, and opposite of us, there was a couple who had been season ticket holders since 1973. And it's an older couple, they were excited about being there at the Super Bowl with their team and hoping that they would win. And actually watching them go through the emotions of that game and everything else. And then when they won, just slobbered all over. It's like, oh, man, get a room. I actually felt good for them to finally get that. Now, I knew right then all of the jokes that we had to go away, the ringless wonders and all that stuff. But I was actually happy for the Eagles when they did win that game.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me when the Red Sox won and had, knocked down the curse of the babe. It reminded me of when the Cubs had 100 years of not winning the World Series, It was stuff like that where, dude, I thought my lifetime too, seeing the Eagles ever win a championship, I knew they had gotten there. They got there with Vermeil and they got there with Andy.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're never going to get there. They're going to be like the Bengals. They're going to be like one of those teams. They're going to be like the Browns. They're not going to win it, but they did. And by the way, they've continued it, right, Philly? I mean, ever since that Super Bowl, it's been the best era of football since that Super Bowl night in Minneapolis, right?
Yeah, they went to two more since then, and they won one. So No, it's been great. And I say, let's not stop this train now. Let's keep it going.
So, hey, Mark, we're going to keep it going. You know how the Eagles are going to keep it going? They hired a 33-year-old nobody. So let me ask you this.
I love it.
John Minnow.
Hey, Philly, this coach has been a coach for 25 months. That's your new OC. So let me set the room up for him, Mark. Kevin Patullo's actually called plays. Nick Sirianni's actually called plays. The guy Josh Grizzard, their pass coordinator, was the OC down in Tampa last year.
Yeah.
Guess who the only guy that's never called plays in that offense?
Let me guess. The offensive coordinator.
How do you feel?
How do I know
that, Billy?
You know what? To be honest with you, I think sometimes that's a bit overrated. Not saying that it's not important. It is, but I also think you can either do it or you can't do it. You can either figure it out or you can't figure it out. And so Nick Sirianni called plays, but they have been horrendous. Patullo called plays, but they were horrendous. You're going to tell me this guy has some upside that he's looked with great eyes around the league? I'll say give him a chance. I like it better than getting Matt Nagy in here or getting a retread guy that's been to multiple places. Give me somebody new that can see stuff a little differently. I'll take a chance on it. So, yeah, I'm okay with it. You can either call plays or you can't call plays. He's either going to figure it out or he's not. That's how I see it.
Mark, the number one area of need and the number one concern in the offseason for the Dallas Cowboys is what?
God, there's so many. To narrow it down to one, I'm going to say edge rusher. We've got to get better on the edges.
So you don't think that kid you got a year ago made enough of an impact?
I think he did, but we'll have to wait and see how well he goes. Now, with we're looking at probably more 5-man fronts. It looks like we're probably going to go to a 3-4 defense, in which case he'll end up becoming an outside linebacker, and we'll see how he goes in there because that's truly our strength is our defensive line. But I'm going to still say you want a beast out there at edge rushing. I mean, if we trade for Max Crosby, hey, great. That would be a major step up because we could not put pressure on quarterbacks and we could not take away the football.
What do you make of Caleb Downs? Somebody like that the Cowboys could maybe take a look at corner there. Would you be in a room with that? Because they need some help back there in that secondary too.
They definitely do. I think, and part of the thing that Schottenheimer has talked about is getting guys that can teach that, because they look at a guy like Savon Ravel, who would have been probably a first-round draft pick for sure had he not tore his ACL, but being a raw talent, trying to get Deron Bland back to where he was, a couple of years ago before the injuries and things. But Caleb Downs would definitely be an upgrade to me. So it's like you could look at edge rusher, you can look at linebacker, you can look at cornerback. Any one of those places are going to improve this defense. But them by themselves are not going to be enough. You're going to have to go in free agency, and you're going to have to bring in some other people and spend some money to really fix this thing.
Philly, do you believe that Howie Roseman had a good year last year?
What are you laughing about? What the fuck's wrong with you?
It's always the fluffy question for Mark, and it's always like, I'm going to dig at the Eagles.
All right, wait. Let me reel this back in. Let me
talk about another negative you guys have going.
All right. Let me reel that back in, and I'll save that. Hang on. Let me put that over here. Like are you saying I'm setting an attack on you here a little bit here? All right. What do you do at 23, in your opinion? I think that's hilarious, by the way. Tell me what you do at 23. Edge, O-lineman, or is what goes down with A.J. Brown dictate that 23rd pick?
That really, if A.J. got traded, that could affect it, I think. But I'm going to say, and I said this so far, I think you got to go offensive line with one of the first two picks. I think you need another right guard, possibly a center. So I would go offensive line actually over any other position as of right now. With AJ getting traded, if he got traded, and I still don't believe that's going to happen, but if he was, then I think that could change things a little bit.
Mark, I'm being accused of throwing softball questions at you right now.
I
mean, I'm being accused by everybody here now, giving you the softball and railroading my boy over here, Philly.500.
After the ride he had and me just literally getting bent over every week. Are you serious?
I mean, Philly, I mean,
I just was responding. I wasn't saying you can't ask me. I just thought it was funny.
Okay, how do you think? Here, look, I'll so that I can make that question. I'm going to go back and visit him on. How do you think Jerry Jones did this past season, trading away Micah Parsons and adding Quinnen Williams though to your football team and Clark? And I think you got better on defense actually. How do you think Jerry did?
Potentially, the defense got better.
Okay,
and the problem, of course, with Micah is he's an undersized edge rusher. Who, when you end up getting in playoffs and you have people running at him, it's not a good fit. So if you're saying the choice is having Micah Parsons, who's a game wrecker, without a doubt, but not being able to stop the run when it comes to playoffs, we weren't going to go anywhere with that defense right there. I think potentially if the Cowboys end up using that number 1 pick and getting the stud, you have to look at it and say Jerry Jones won that trade. At the moment, you have to look at it and say Jerry won that trade. The whole thing, though, about the coaching staff, Matt Eberflus and that crew, that just didn't work. But you're seeing Brian Schottenheimer is definitely taking the lead on this, and they are very methodical with really turning over every rock, trying to find a good group of coaches. What are you smiling about there?
I'm smiling because I've got to make sure that I, have a fluffy question here now here for Philly. Because I don't want to get accused throwing haters.
No, ask me whatever you want. I just thought it was funny. No, I don't care.
It is.
You ask me whatever.
All right.
You asked me why I was laughing. I was just
hey, well, here we go. So how do you think what kind of year do you think Howie had this past year?
I think it was a little bit of an off year, to be honest with you. I think winning the Super Bowl, I think they did maybe in some ways one too many moves and in the wrong ways. And then in other ways, I think they didn't do enough moves. Like, for example, I don't think there was any reason to get rid of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I still don't understand that move. It was like one of those moves you didn't need to make. They claimed it was for salary cap reasons, but it wasn't. And then in other ways, I just felt like they were already looking for this year. Like they were worried about the big contracts with Carter, and they got to sign these guys. So I think they were looking 2-3 years down the road instead of the next year. And I think it was a little bit of an off year for him.
Can I interject real quick?
Sure.
Your defense was number 1. That wasn't your team's problem. So getting rid of C.J. Gardner does not look like a bad move. It's not like you.
Well, it did look like a bad move because we struggled multiple weeks. Yeah, but early in the year we struggled at the safety position. It was a battle that you didn't need to have. It was like, and then Makuba gets hurt. And if you look at the safety playing next to Reed down the stretch, it wasn't great. I mean, it wasn't good enough.
It was as bad as my shit was.
Yeah, but you guys naturally stunk. We didn't need to. We didn't need to create
that. Oh my. Okay. So, okay, Philly, you think we've seen the best of Jalen Hurts?
No. I think once, and hopefully it'll be with this coordinator. Once you get a coordinator that will actually take the handcuffs off the kid and let him go out and play, I think you were going to see more, and I think he's going to take it to another level. I hope we're going to. I'll tell you this: I do believe we're going to find the answer though this year. We're going to know this year.
Now, the contention that I've been saying this, Mark, you tell me too. I said that the reason that they hired this 33-year-old guy, and that this is going to put Nick Sirianni in the bullseye even more, because if this shits the bed here, you're going to blow this guy out at the end of 26. Do you not agree, Philly? I mean, if this thing shits the bed again by a first-year play caller and this thing doesn't go sideways here, doesn't that give them a better off-ramp? Because if the reports are right from Jeff McClain, from the Inquirer, saying that there was thought process that the owner was going to fire him twice, you blow this thing here with this talent that you have on the team, if that's all in the likelihood that you bring AJ back and you shit the bed here, I mean, Philly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sirianni's
I do
gone
think
after 26.
it could be. He could be. And that may not be the worst thing for us. I'm just going to be honest. So, yeah, I think it's possible. But I do think that getting the outside coordinator, getting somebody who hopefully will change the offense a little more, I really think it's going to show. It's really going to end this debate whether is Jalen Hurts the quarterback or is it the coach, is it the quarterback? We're going to know. I think that's the one thing that we'll get out of this season is we'll know who's the problem more than anything.
Mark, do you believe Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than Sam Darnold?
Yes. I do. Yeah. The difference, you can go through, for example, Trevor Lawrence is on a, 13-win team? Do you look and say Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott? No. They had the 9th-rated defense. Seattle gets takeaways. They give you your offense more opportunities, good field position, and so on. Now, that's not to say that Sam Darnold hasn't played great on the stretch, and he's been playing great in the playoffs. He's a really good quarterback. He has turned around his career. But if you're saying apples and oranges, if it's just quarterback to quarterback, I think Dak is better.
How about this, though? So in the last 2 years, he's won 31 ball games. He's 31-8. He's 2-1 in the playoffs. He's won an NFC championship. He did this with 2 different teams, 2 different regimes. He was in Minnesota with a completely different personnel, completely different coaching staff, and he duplicates and actually elevates in Seattle. See, I think it's more about the organization, Mark, than more about the player. I think organizations don't – you keep constantly saying this, right, Philly? Doesn't Mark say this all the time? The Cowboys, you believe, have failed the Cowboys. The Cowboys have failed Dak, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Dak,
well, doesn't
Romo,
that
you
apply
can go
to
down the
Sam
line.
Darnold? That has to apply to Sam Darnold then, too, that those other organizations like the Jets and
they
Carolina
definitely
failed him too, right?
Yeah. That's a true statement. That is a true statement. You can't look at, I mean, with Sam Darnold, Minnesota's defense was really good.
It was. Brian Flores.
And same thing with Seattle. And see, when you are in a position where you don't have to win the game every single time, you are going to have games where you're going to have to step up, but you can't have it every single week that we're going to live and die on what the quarterback does. And that's literally what the Cowboys have done.
Philly, do you believe that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold?
I think right now you have to say no. I think Sam Darnold, he's won a lot of games in 2 years, and if he goes on to win a Super Bowl, I don't know how you can say that.
Now, isn't Sam in the same position that Jalen is with this conversation here? By the way, no shade. This is not shade on Jalen. This is more shade on the organizations that failed Sam Darnold on where this guy is. Don't you agree? If you have a top 5 defense, like the Eagles did a year ago where they won, they were number 1. And Sam Darnold could throw 4 picks, right? Like he did in that Rams game, in the first Rams game, and almost win that game. They lost by 3 in that game on the road in Los Angeles. So my point is, guys, would you rather have an elite quarterback or would you rather have an efficient quarterback like Hurts and Darnold in an elite roster? To me, I'd rather have the elite roster, right?
Well, yeah, but you've got to have a quarterback that can win in those situations.
And doesn't lose.
Darnold proved, and the big question with Darnold was the same question that I have with Dak Prescott. Darnold had to go out and show that in the playoffs, in the big moments, he can deliver and he could step up, and he did. I think so far. Now he's got to go finish it off. Jalen has gone and finished it off. Dak has not finished it off, and that's the truth. That's the difference. So if you ask me, who would I rather have? Darnold, Hurts, or a Dak Prescott? I'll take Darnold and Hurts over the guy that doesn't win the playoffs every single time.
Look at Mark. Mark, I want to throw something at ownership to you guys. I want to show you something because I brought this up to Xander. You want to hear this? So since the Super Bowl is going to be 60 years old, the New England Patriots have been to 12 Super Bowls. That's 20% of the Super Bowls that have ever been played. And since Kraft owned the team in 94, listen to this one, Philly. Since they owned the team in 94, Bob Kraft has been to 37.5% of the Super Bowls, which means every 2 years, the Patriots have been in the Super Bowl. I'll ask you first, Mark. Why is Bob Kraft a better owner than Jerry Jones?
He has football people doing football things instead of putting his hands all over it. Jerry Jones has run the Cowboys as a mom and pop shop with his chemical engineer son as the capologist, cap boy, AKA, trying to deal with contracts and stuff and letting his emotions be in here, trying to say, I'm the big dog. I'm the one that's going to win this because of the shadows of Jimmy Johnson. That's the difference.
Philly, why is Bob Kraft a better owner than Jeffrey Lurie? Or do you think that?
I mean, look, the guy's been to how many Super Bowls and won how many?
11, 6.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. Now, I like Jeffrey Lurie. I actually think he does a really good job. But I mean, look, Kraft's been to. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. Can he win? Can he finish it with Brady not there? I mean, I think having Brady, you can't deny that helps a lot when you have Tom Brady as the quarterback. So, and Bill Belichick. So to me, you got to give him credit where credit is due. But let's see what happens Sunday first.
I think it's a blowout. I mean,
I think Seattle's going to win.
Yeah, I think Seattle's going to win. You know what? I'll take that back. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be like 28-20. I think it's going to be somewhere in there. And I'm going to ask you first, Mark. Who do you like on Sunday?
Seattle.
And why?
Seattle. I'm going to still go back to New England. Great record. They beat the teams in front of them. But I still go back to that 11 of the games that they played were against teams that fired their coach. You didn't have the top quarterbacks that you were playing and facing week after week. And I think with Seattle being a West Coast team, it's they're used to playing in San Francisco. I just think that Seattle has the advantages.
Let me show you the coaching difference, guys. I'll get to you, Philly, here in a minute. Get this. So you have Mike Vrabel, you have Mike McDonald, two savant defensive coaches, head coaches. You got Josh McDaniels and Clint Kubiak as your offensive coordinators. I mean, these might just be the best coached football teams, and that's why these guys are also there in the playoffs, because we saw coaching matter, right? Especially Philly in the San Francisco-Philadelphia game. We saw coaching matter. Who do you like on Sunday, brother, and why?
I like Seattle. I like Seattle. I like their defense, and I like their run game. I like the way they run the ball. I think their offense is pretty balanced attack, and I just think they're going to be too much for the Patriots. So I'm taking Seattle.
Your favorite player's birthday today, Jerome Brown. What do you make of that?
Yeah.
Would have been 60.
I love Jerome Brown, man. That would have been, I often wonder what it would have been like if he would have stayed. What would that have been like? Yeah, very well could have. But man, I still to this day haven't seen anybody like Jerome Brown as far as I'm concerned. He was amazing, man.
I got to give you a story on the Cowboys, Mark, on every time that the Eagles played the Cowboys when Jerome was on the Eagles and Jimmy was the head coach of the team. So those guys never, ever really wanted to meet before the game, like before the game and the kickoff. So you know what they would do? The night before, they would kind of have like a meeting. They would meet somewhere secretly because these guys had so much love for one another, but they didn't want to show anything on the football field because of their competitive edges.
Yeah.
So one night, Jerome picks Jimmy up. Philly, you're going to love this. They went to a Mexican place there in Dallas, right next to Campese's. Okay, so they go there. Jerome gets something to eat. He eats. So Jimmy, he goes, I got to go to the bathroom. So he goes to the bathroom. He walks out the back door. He leaves Jimmy there. Jimmy, the guy, the restaurant guy comes in and goes, where'd Jerome go? He goes, oh, he left out the back door and said, Coach, I'll see you Sunday. Coach, I'll see you Sunday.
Oh,
boy. That's my boy.
That's some shit there, man. Oh, damn.
This was in Dallas. So, hey, man, those rivalries, the body bag game and all that shit. I mean, Philly, that was That was when really that rivalry was at its all-time high. No,
That was great. That was great. Nobody helped each other off the ground. Yeah, I loved it, man. I hate Dallas. Go. I like it. Go. Let's get Zendejas. Let's pop.
Oh,
You know what I
shit.
mean? Little bounty bowl here. Little snowballs thrown Jimmy's way. Let's go.
Let's
That's what
go,
I'm talking
man.
about.
Guys, you guys are
That's
great.
the way it is.
I got you guys.
Yes.
I think it's all Seattle too on Sunday, man. I know a lot
Yeah.
of people are pulling for the Patriots to see if they can win that ball game. Hey, real quick, what'd you make of Bob Kraft not getting in now to the Hall of Fame? The greatest
I don't
owner,
know.
the greatest coach not in.
Yeah, that surprises me. I guess they're making them pay for it for the possible cheating and stuff. But yeah, it's crazy.
Well,
I think.
They couldn't not put Belichick in and then turn around and put Kraft in because you can't look at one without the other.
So then this has to
It doesn't make any sense either way because you've got the winningest owner and the winningest coach that they're not first ballot Hall of Famers.
So wait a minute. That means it has to affect Brady then too.
It won't. There's no chance. No chance.
Because he proved it also in Tampa Bay. He's got more rings than anybody else. I mean,
Yeah,
if they do that, then they need to burn the place down.
Yeah, they do need to. Guys, I appreciate you very much.
Thank you, man.
You got it.
Awesome.
Philly.500
Appreciate it.
and the legendary Mark Holmes. Absolutely. Yeah, he's right. If they don't put in Tom Brady on the first ballot, they need to burn